All right. Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We are live. If you're out there watching, I am Dr. Solo Perry, Doc Solo to my students. I am the director of Ka-Pow, the Comic Art Academy, the real art school for real people with real lives, taught by real pros. And tonight we are going to be sketching and chilling the blue-eyed thing, the ever-loving blue-eyed thing tonight. And let me know who you are and where you're watching from, and so I can greet you properly. But we about to get started. Let me move the X hat over a little bit so it doesn't get too far into the camera. Get the ink flowing on this. It's always good to get the ink flowing on your Pentel brush. Once it gets flowing, it's good, but it can start off a little bit dry. You can give it a little squeeze, but always away from your artwork because it may pull up a little bit. And now it's kind of doing its thing. Hope everybody's well. I like to warm up with some, and this is literally my first time drawing today. It's been hectic around these parts, but hey, we here, we're getting the thing done, so let's do the thing. Literally, we're doing the thing. And we're omnicasting, so let me know where you're watching from. Twitch, Facebook Live, or YouTube. Whatever your flavor is, we are there currently. If you have any questions about what I'm using or any tools or anything like that, feel free to let your questions fly. Other than that, I'm just drawing and sketching and chilling, as the title says. Kind of like to relax and just have fun with it. Taking a break from my page work and from my studio and print work, and this is just stuff that just makes me feel good just doing it, you know? With a nice thick cast shadow underneath here. It kind of adds to his bulky nature. And one of the toughest things I've had to try to navigate this illustration is really the randomness of his rocks, but still having them make like sense. And of course, I can take certain luxuries and liberties here because I'm not drawing it repeatedly, which has its own benefits. You know, of course, if I were drawing this for a comic or something like that, I would probably, you know, simplify in a way that made sense, like many of my favorite artists do. So I just think he should have bigger plates, mostly on the chest, because that, you know, the pectoral muscles are larger. And what we're doing is, again, we're kind of trying to translate. At least I'm trying to translate things that make some sort of anatomical sense as much as you can for comics. And I usually I'm trying to keep like smaller rock groups and formations, you know, around the joints where he would bend. You know, you gotta remember, a lot of these things were created way before things had to make some kind of sense. And here's the beauty about comics. What I love is that everything ain't got to make sense. I think that's the joy and the mystery of it. That's the fantasy part of it. Is like let's just have fun. Everything doesn't have to be, you know, scientifically plausible, for lack of a better term. Someone gave me a thumbs up, whoever that was. Thank you. Someone's always sneaking in here giving me thumbs up, and I really appreciate it. I think later on this week I'm gonna do might do a digital Captain, well, not Captain Marvel, a photon drawing, finish it up digitally in commemoration of the movie that just came out. Despite the movie, I loved Photon as a character. Why they thought that character would be strong enough for a movie, I do not know. That's kind of like the kneecap. Since there's not a lot of movement here, I'm going to kind of make these rocks kind of more vertical, kind of consistent with the tibia. Hope you guys can see everything okay. And for something like this, the brush is really perfect because of the organic nature of a brush, and these rocks have to look very organic. If you use, I think that if you try using a micron or something like that, number one, you probably drive yourself nuts. You get these nice little cast shadows and textures that you can kind of play with at your leisure. Kind of have a couple of rocks peeking out under here. And this is mostly going to be in shadow on a nice robust shadow underneath his rib cage. Kind of lends itself to the whole kind of crouched over. I've really been trying to hone up on my brush skills. I'm getting better. I'm learning. That's the whole point, right? No matter where you are in your creative journey, the point is to constantly be pushing yourself to learn something you didn't know before. And that's kind of just how I roll. I don't want to be too obtuse with this. I'm just going to fill in all this black right here and kind of use a cheaper. Sharpies are cheaper. I try to conserve my artistic resources whenever possible. I want this whole shadow here up under this rib cage. I almost lost track of what time it was. I was watching one of my cooking shows. Yes, I love to watch cooking shows. I'm a home cook and a huge foodie. I like that phrase. I wonder who coined that, home cook, to help differentiate between professional chefs and us mere mortals who are passionate about cooking. Home cook. I'm a home cook. Not cooking tonight. Probably after this stream. I'm gonna go grab myself some tacos. And I know I came on here, I started off with a sketch and a doodle. If you guys checked out my Veterans Day stream, I just didn't like the way I entered. I was so unprepared. And you guys got to know, like everything else, art is very much a confidence game. And I waver just a little bit, if I can be honest. One thing you can always count on me is I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. I'm not trying to make myself out to be something that I am not. I got a few, I'm not going to do it on this stream. I might do it privately, but all of the full process will either be shown later here on YouTube or with some commentary on our Patreon. I haven't decided yet. I haven't fleshed all of that out, all those logistics. But I'll figure it out. We still kind of new here. Even though the channel has been here for a while, I've been a non-participant. We're going to change that, especially now that the school is live and growing. We're going to change all of that. Hopefully you guys got your notifications on so you can find out when we are live. Good. I don't like a bunch of halos. If we're gonna go black, let's just go black. The eye will figure out the rest. But the brain has a great mechanism for figuring out what's what. Over the past few years, I've grown a lot more confident in my use of solid black areas. I ain't saying I got it down, but I'm just saying I've gotten more confidence. I said it's a confidence game. I don't know who's out there watching, but if you're joining me, sound off. Let me know that you're there so I can greet you properly. See about making this a regular Monday night thing. See if we can kind of fill the void left by the incredible Dave Finch and his Monday night draw. Now that they're moving to Thursdays, just FYI. A month ago, I would not have been brave enough to even attempt this live with a brush. Tomorrow will be a day spent fully editing some of the recorded content. I got a great interview with the incredible Seth Demus from who's done work for Image and all the big guys. Interviewed him at Grand Rapids Comic-Con the weekend before last, so I'm trying to get that out this week. Such an incredible talent, Mr. Demus, and he and his lovely wife. And his beautiful young daughter, who didn't say a whole lot, but she seems cool enough. She's a teenager. I've raised 4 of those, so I get it. I'm trying to do some interesting things with markers on here. We're going to just try to get through inking the main body tonight. See, I have debris in the foreground. That's all going to be done in marker. Copics. See, I already got my markers laid out. Did my tonal color test on a scrap piece of tonal paper, like the one I'm using. We're going to be rolling out also, if you guys are interested in our school, me and the team are brainstorming another educational option. We really love live instruction. That's something that you get from us that is harder to come by, typically. And so we are brainstorming some alternative learning options for those who want to learn from us and are passionate about telling stories and learning the comic craft from guys who do the thing. And so our comprehensive course, though we don't discuss price, some people just aren't there in response to the economy. We kind of get it. I didn't start this. No one does anything comics related purely for money. If you guys know the comics book industry, it's passion above all. It really is. So yeah, I'm gonna finish I started a Captain Marvel, not a Captain Marvel. I keep saying Captain Marvel. It was, I guess she once was, but a photon print back when she made her first appearance in WandaVision, and I've always loved the character. I don't really care where what they've done with it, what they failed to do with it on the big screen. And that's the whole thing about this. I just draw what I love. I really don't, you know, try to draw necessarily what's popular. If anything, you're going to see a lot of obscure characters from me. I love obscure characters. I love villains. I mean, who doesn't love a good villain, right? And obviously, being a man of color, I love characters of color. I don't think they get enough attention, especially in drawing streams. With your high-level artists, even, you know, I kind of feel like your heart, at least from what I've seen so far, the higher-level artists that do stream, they're streaming, you know, that are of color, are not really attempting to even do characters of color because they're not as popular typically. And I think that's a tragedy, especially when you have the skills to really get people to buy into it. So hopefully my skills will be sufficient to at least raise a level of curiosity and interest. So I'm gonna kind of lend my skills where I can on that front, though not exclusively. I mean, just want to show people that these characters, especially hopefully in the, you know, right hands, can be just as interesting. Misty Knight, Cloak from Cloak and Dagger, and these are some great characters, man. We saw what Netflix did with Luke Cage, right? I'm not a big cross hatcher. I'm a hatcher, but I don't do a lot of cross hatching, admittedly. I was kind of traumatized by the 90s, having endured the trend, the illustrative trends of the 90s. I never really bought in. People kind of thought I was a little bit different. But even as a self-taught artist, I kind of knew what kind of turned me on and inspired me. Most of it came from my animation origins, you know, being a native, you know, cutting my teeth in the artistic world in animation as opposed to comics. Had some nice deep shadows here. Kind of push this back here a little bit. This should be mostly in shadow, a couple of rocks peeking out. Push it back right below the knee. So we'll go big shadows here. Remember, everything's a cylinder. These are nothing more than cylinders. Push that all the way back. Right there at the kneecap. All right, let's switch up tools quickly, briefly. All right, so what I decided to do is kind of have like a rocket. It's good to remember that he only has 3 fingers and a thumb. Got a cigar in his mouth. I'm gonna have him kind of lighting the cigar with the stogie. I think the hand should be turned up a little bit more. I think it should be turned up a little bit more. It looks too lazy. one thing I don't like is our lazy hands. It's a personal thing. You know, the hand should kind of be dynamic, as dynamic as you can wherever you are in your progress. And so for me, I kind of know that, you know, if he's doing this, he's kind of got the tube, the base tube that is the rocket, right? And then I kind of want the thumb kind of turned up. And the baby finger kind of resting there to kind of show that it's, there you go. Remember, the fingers have volume. I see a lot of newer artists, they're trying to figure it out. They kind of forget that when they wrap the fingers around, that the fingers are tubes themselves, right? And they're tubular, so they should not be right on the surface or too close. You kind of have to determine the amount of volume that you want your fingers to have. So it's kind of boom, they wrap around, kind of encroach on one another. There we go. This is not like a muscular, powerful hand. It's kind of look, I want him to look similar, like, you know, he's so strong and powerful. It's got to almost look casual. You know, like this dude is actually like lighting a cigarette with a rocket. That, you know, a little bit of storytelling, kind of pretend that he kind of imagine that he kind of snatched it out the air with his phenomenal strength. Okay. Gotta make a little bit of separation here to kind of bring that knee forward, that bend. So I need this line more defined here. And I can do that with some shadow, some undershadow of these rocks here, because they will kind of be like facing like that. And increase the line weight here. Kind of fits together like a jigsaw puzzle. Rocks. Which I kind of like having the gaps in between the fitted stones. Kind of like bricks. A little artifact on the tip of my brush. There we go. There you go. folds there. I can't think of a more relaxing way to kind of end the workday than just doing something that you love, man. Life is so stressful. Sit down, listen to some nice, relaxing music, and just let the kid out for a little bit, you know? Don't overwork that. I think we have enough visual information there. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and let me see something. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of I'm going to go back over this in white. Just kind of get the gist down. Just kind of let the brush kind of grace over the top of the paper. You definitely want to end in some nice sharp feathered points. Again, probably go out with white or a little bit of acrylic paint at the next stage. So we got white there. A little bit of feathering to kind of acknowledge the light source there. A little piece of paper fiber that's messing up my. There we go. If I didn't warn you before, I am a page spinner. Sorry if I didn't warn you before. So we have this thumb kind of bending forward. Boom, but it kind of turns a little bit. Different with the forearm kind of massive. Now I'm just going to kind of wing this missile thing. I just got to grab a fine liner really quickly. Get a nice thin little acknowledgement of, again, lines get a little bit thinner. closer to the light source. Probably should have done it much thinner sooner, but we'll get there. There we go. We'll get there. I probably want these shadows like really thick because this light's coming from here. Also add a little bit of depth to the chest. Again, the thing with the Prisma, with the microns, great tool, my go-to normally, but their inorganic nature, their the sterile monoline they give can be a little bit probably great for, again, great for things like, you know, hatching and, you know, adding stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just kind of push it back. Push those little segments back since they're all in shadow. Still working on my uniformity, if I'm being quite honest. But all things in good time. You can get a little taper, but you have to be very quick with the lift in the stroke. Add a little bit of, again, in direction of the light source. Probably going to add a little bit cast shadow. I am going to color this eventually. Kind of pulls the head forward a little bit. There we go. Let me try something. A nice handy dandy kneaded eraser. It was almost 7 o'clock. I just started at 6, didn't I? Just wondering why I was hungry. My body's telling me something. Kind of lift some of that red out of there. Now, from everywhere, I just want to kind of, I thrive on levels of completion. So sometimes I can be a little premature with it, admittedly, but my proclivity towards cleanliness when it comes to art, even like when I'm sketching with graphite, I tend to use a very hard lead. Like some of the pages that I'm working on currently for my studio, I do traditional pages. I kind of do a hybrid method. I may do a blue line first, and then I'll do a really nice clean graphite pencil, but I think my pencils are very hard. I use a 2H. One of my old acquaintances used to say I draw with rocks, but I didn't like how HB, and again, each his own. But me personally, I didn't like the migration of the graphite. It would turn my paper gray over time, and it just irked me. So I like the graphite that was a little bit, though it was lighter. It still gave me just enough contrast, but it didn't smear all over the paper, because yeah, I put my hand, I go over the entire page when I draw. And I jump around a lot. I just jump around a lot. I usually like to have some type of I think that's a pretty good looking hand for this. Well, you probably can't see it because of the red. But I'm just kind of blocking things in. And now I'm going to go ahead and get the drawing. I left my laptop and I'm not about to go get it. You want to keep it with the rocky texture. So you want to make sure that everything reads anatomically as accurate as possible. So we have a little bend here, that finger. We have this one, and all of his fingers have kind of a clubbed into it, which is fun. And put a knuckle joint here. There we go. Remember contours. Contours, people. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask while I'm here. This isn't just me trying to show off. This is an educational platform. Information and education on the comic craft. In the sea of thousands, we're like, why not lend our voice to it? Nobody talks like us. And hopefully our goal is to find our tribe here on these platforms. Our students love us. And now it's time to kind of share the love. We have a great class this year. Aspiring storytellers. Tell people we are not a how to draw school, even though that's part of it. Our bread and butter is sequential storytelling. knuckle 1, knuckle 2. Again, it still has to read like a hand, even though you have all these rocky formations. They have to be in concert with what we know a hand to be. Let me get a little bit of video for the gram. A little bit of video for the gram and for the talk. Listen, when you're a small operation, you gotta optimize. Got to optimize your efforts. And considering the bends, we're doing small fragmented plating here so that it suspends disbelief just enough. That, okay, that rocky, I can see that rocky hand bending like that. FYI, this is my first time drawing the thing. You're gonna get a lot of that here on this channel when I'm drawing. I was telling my students at a convention last week, it's way more things than I haven't drawn than I have. One thing I love about Ka-Pow as opposed to my studio, it forces me, because of the nature of the platform and it being a school, to draw more pop culture. But one thing you're probably always going to see me do is put my spin on these characters. I've never liked just drawing line for line, design for design characters that of other entities. Gotta have a little bit of me in there. I'm not reckless with it, but I do kind of need it. Keeps it interesting and fresh. Gonna have to make some adjustments because again, did not quite plan out as well as I should have. Like, I didn't plan on the cigar until later. Make sure those sure his mouth reads accurately. There we go. Hope you guys are seeing everything okay. Got any questions, feel free to ask if you're there. If not, I'm just drawing. Sketching and chilling. As the name says, we just gonna sketch and chill. We'll put that 4 under here. Make sure it's centered. It'll be the way it's bent, it'll be an oval. And the way at the bottom, that part right there will be contoured. Just got to read like a 4. Ain't got to be 100% accurate. Just got to read like a 4. And I think I'm going to put that all in black. The O will be narrow at the bottom. There we go. All right, let's see if we can make this work. You never know until you do it. And I'm not using my ellipse tools. It's not that serious. But if you would ask me this a year ago, I'd be like, no, my neuroticism would have kicked in. My desire for everything to be perfect. I'm rapidly outgrowing that bad habit. I'm going to go and color that in. Grab something with a finer tip, my Tombow. We got enough for the gram. Stop that. There we go. That reads pretty good, I think. Y'all tell me. Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. Or if you're watching live, let me know what you think. And please don't ask me what my favorite marker is. I have marker confusion. I have so many. I'm just always experimenting, y'all, and that's the truth. I'm not giving y'all no lip service. I don't know half of these markers if they're waterproof, if they are alcohol proof, I just grab and I go. And oftentimes I find out the hard way. But I think these Tombos are this Tombow Fudenosuke Fude. It's a Fude. We just say Fude. I believe it is largely marker proof, alcohol proof. I believe we're gonna find out. Well, I'm gonna find out later. Y'all won't be watching that. All right, there's a gnat that wants to annoy me. As long as it don't land on my paper. If it lands on the white, I'm killing it. You all may see some insect violence here in a second. I like a nice static outline on all my figures. And so we'll get there though. We'll get there though. Now I'm gonna grab the French curve for the tube of the missile. First, let me get a little bit more clarity here. Get a little bit more clarity here. Where my pencil's at? There we go. Get a little bit more clarity here. Gotta have the fins. That one will be right up the middle. So we'll have the rocket body here. This fin. Make sure this reads well mechanically. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Your brain just has to be able to know what it is. Brain just gotta know what it is. Excuse me just a second. I think someone's trying to bring me food. Can't do that right now. It's too much for brother right now. All right, I'm trying to make some art, not get all emotional. This is just a flat eraser. I believe it's also Tombow. Yep. You got the flat one, and you have the little it's this zero. That's the zero. This is also the zero. Well, one is round, one is flat. This little round one is great for like detail erasing, like when you really want to get there in the micro. Like that, you can actually form a little tip on it. You gotta be gentle though, because it will break on you. make sure I got most of that in there so I could really dial in. I usually with super strong characters kind of like to show a little like a little damage to whatever it is they're holding, as if they, you know, they grabbed it with some force. But hey, what's happening? Hey Don, what's happening? Good to see you. How you been? Thanks for popping in from Twitch. I've been okay. I've been okay. Trying to keep my head above water, man. How have you been, my friend? How's your streaming and stuff been going? Well, I hope. Ooh. What? Got a girlfriend, almost died. What? That sounds like a story. I hope everything's okay. We've been dealing with a lot of illness here. My wife's been under with shingles, following about with COVID. Hope everything's okay. I hope, really, I hope everything's okay. For you guys watching, this is an incredible supporter on my other channel for my studio. And, you know, they're like family. Hopefully we can build a family here on Ka-Pow as well. What? Oh my gosh, that is horrible. That is horrible. Yeah, fill me in. I'll be live on Honor Studios tomorrow morning. And you know how we get down there, so... You know, we rally the troops. We rally the troops. I'm glad you're okay though. I'm glad it's almost. I'm glad it's just almost. We'd have some shadow coming in here from the fingers from this light source from the rocket's propulsion. So kind of be like that. Yeah, that kind of stuff is not to be played with. Yeah, we had about a COVID here, and no one almost died from the fever though. My wife is down for the count, and she's still down because it left her susceptible to shingles, and so she's been really struggling. The past couple of weeks this is like week 4 of shingles. She's been down actually for about 5 weeks. I just pray everything's okay. Hope you guys are doing better. I really do. This will be cast shadow here because of that light source. Kind of put a little beveling here to acknowledge that. And these fingers would kind of be like that. Lighting this up is different. It's a whole different animal. Again, this comes down to planes, and you don't have to do them all. And that's the thing. You don't have to do them all. I like it when my students kind of show me that they're at least aware of it. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, obviously a lot of things can be handled at the coloring stage. If that's what you're gonna do. Let's just be right next to the rocket so it won't have a lot of, every line will be too obscured by the exhaust. But we still kind of acknowledge that we know something's supposed to be there. All right, now let's add this little one right here. So this is mostly going to be black. This is going to be like right up against the this last fin here. Try not to use the edge to see if I'm half as good as I'd like to believe I am. A little bit of shading right here, just kind of bring a little separation. And a little bit of the rock thing here. Line work. Real faint. Gonna have a little bit of pitting. Again, if I had to draw all of this in sequence and do this guy from page to page, panel to panel, no, we would definitely. That's the difference between illustration and sequential storytelling. We are not the same. I'm a sequential storyteller that can illustrate, but a lot of illustrators doesn't necessarily go vice versa. Can't have the rocks looking too smooth. They gotta kind of, again, have some pitting and some texture. And if this wasn't just for sketch and chill, if this was, again, I probably wouldn't do all of this because it's not really necessary, to be quite honest. I'm just playing at this point. It's called noodling. You never know, it could be something cool later, or like a print if I don't mess it up too bad, like I did that Isaiah Bradley the other day on Veterans Day. Came in without a plan, and they got the best of me. That will not happen too often. Not if I got something to say about it. All right, it brings a pretty good time. And I don't like a lot of line work. Typically, again, I like to keep things pretty open, but this is the thing, so you can kind of let it do what he does. I think I'm gonna have the foot kind of taper off into the to the ground, but not a whole lot of fuss over it. See how I'm lightening up the lines here. I think I'll put some shadows under here. Definitely under here to kind of make that hand pop. Yes, I can get fine lines with this tip. This is, I don't think this is an ultra fine. Forget. But the tip is really nice and sharp. I first got introduced to these when I was at the animation studio with my mentor, and he gave me one. And this is pre-Amazon, pre-online ordering, and so I had to use it sparingly because there was like really no real way to, like, he went to Japan. You know, he was huge in the anime community before it really hit the States, right? When I say before it really hit the States, I'm talking like, you know, 80s, 90s, where he speaks Japanese and he would go there for the conventions and all of that in Japan. So my first taste of real, like, in-depth anime kind of preceded everything that's happening now with Crunchyroll and the internet. I was so fortunate to be exposed to that, and that actually really influenced a lot of my storytelling proclivities. I was so amazed by their fusion of concepts and the curation of ideas to come up with something seemingly new and innovative. It's just they just weren't doing that here in the States, especially at the studio where we were at. It's like everything was derivative, you know, of things that were already out. Now it's so popular, you know, anime and manga. I'm fortunate enough to say that I had a jump on that because of him. Like, I saw the original JoJo's Bizarre Adventure decades before it ever was Americanized and translated. He actually put it on a DVD for me. Well, not DVD, not DVD. He put it on a VHS for me. Back then we had to burn VHSs. And so he put it on and it was subtitled, but it was not in the States. And that was, I saw that and that was like gold to me. So I thank him. I'm much indebted to him for his exposure and what he taught me about comics. Because again, I was natively an animation kid. I always wanted to make things move. I only knew superheroes from animation largely. Just a moment. This is my grandchild. You and Vea got strep throat? Oh my gosh. Oh, did they give you some medicine? Yeah, that's horrible. That's horrible. I hope you get better soon. I love you. I love you much. And Peaches, but don't give nobody sugar. You got strep throat. Peaches. Hey, my love. Hey, Peanut Peach Pie. I'm streaming, so yes, they can hear you guys on the live stream. Hey, man. Hey, you. Hey, number 7. Grandchild number 7, y'all. Hey, number 7. Lucky number 7. 7 up.
Okay, so we'll talk to you later.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye-bye. My world stops for my grandkids, y'all. Just FYI. Just FYI. And my kids, for that matter. They're pretty cool people. They're pretty cool people. Even though I raised them. In spite of having raised them. Despite having me as a dad and granddad, they turned out all right. They've been sick all week. My baby's been sick. Now we find out. Well, now we know why. Some stuff going around, y'all. Oh my gosh. There's some stuff going around. Like, for those of you who are watching on YouTube or Facebook Live, just a few minutes ago, one of my supporters from Twitch, he and his girlfriend, something happened with them with a sickness and an incredibly high fever. And then again, I told you guys my wife is upstairs in the bed, going on week number 5 with with shingles, following a case of COVID that we both had. She gave to me, but I recovered quickly, and she ended up developing shingles. And so, needless to say, me now being where I am age-wise, brother's getting the free shingles shot this week. Believe it. Believe it. Believe it. That shingle, that COVID did enough of a job on me. I am not trying to catch nothing else. No time soon. No time soon. Okay, so we're pretty much where I want to end on this one. As far as what I'm doing here, I'm going to continue the rest of this in marker and maybe a little color pencil in off-white, but that will be done privately as another warm-up. So thank you guys for sketching and chilling with me tonight. I hope you guys got something out of it. And if you want to learn more about me and my school, Ka-Pow, the Comic Art Academy, the real art school for real people with real lives taught by real pros, visit teachyoutodraw.com. Teachyoutodraw.com is at the bottom of the screen. It's right. Oh, well, other way. It's right over there. It's right over there. See it? Down over there. Yep. teachyoutodraw.com. And hopefully you guys like, subscribe, follow wherever you guys are at. If you have any questions, please comment on this video, like, follow, subscribe, and if you want more information on the school, check us out. We are still taking students for this year. We're still taking year 1 students all the way up until the end of November, right after Thanksgiving. After that, we shutter for the year, and who we have is who we have, and then we will start enrolling for next year. And there will be a slight price increase, not out of greed, but out of necessity. But nothing exorbitant. You know, I created this school to be affordable for people, again, with real lives that have bills to pay, but want an efficient and convenient way to kind of learn and pursue their storytelling dreams. I built the kind of school I wish was around when I was a full-time police supervisor here in Chicago for 20 plus years. And so no school like it created. YouTube wasn't sufficient. I wanted more mentorship, more education, and though I was able to find it on my own and get my skills to level up, I want to create an easier way for others. And if that appeals to you, check us out at teachyoudraw.com. And if we feel it's a good fit, if you apply and we feel it's a good fit, we'll do the thing. But until then, I'm Doc Solo. And remember, life is short. Live, love, laugh every day that you got. And with that in mind, draw like your life depends on it. I'll check you out. This is Doc Solo. Peace.